So, Grant, first of all, if I may, I think this time last week we were talking about the prospect of Westbrook returning to training. How is he today?
Yeah, he's good. He's trained. He's trained this week. He's still a little bit short in terms of maybe being involved in a game, but he's getting closer. You know, towards the end of this month, early March, we'll hopefully see him back involved. It's a complex injury. We don't want to be rushing him back into it. He's not done really any long, distant passing. Obviously, you know, it's a thigh injury, but it's all been more short, sharp stuff for them. So we'll just build him up nicely and hopefully have him available soon.
Just from a psychological perspective, well, for all of you really, but to have him back as someone who is, when available, sort of part of the spine of the team and available to play again, must be good. Yeah,
he's trained 2 sessions with us this week, but he trains and has a day off, and then he trains again, not a day off, but a day off the grass. So he trained on Tuesday and again today. So it's nice. He same traits there. We're seeing just calm. Always has a picture in his head. Very clever football player. So it was nice to see him in and around the group today, and obviously on Tuesday.
In between matches, anybody else available for this week?
No, we are where we are. Fortunately, everyone's came through the game on Tuesday as well. The behind closed doors game we had. The rest of the group have obviously had a few days of good training, and we're preparing right for the game on Saturday.
It was reported about the trialist that you've had a look at. That trialist, are you taking it forward? Is there going to be a further trial with him?
No decision made. Max is obviously, if you said it's been out there, Max is obviously someone who obviously I've known about for a long time. He's done really well at Coventry. He's obviously went to Scotland and picked up an injury really early on. Same injury as St Westbrook, if it makes that way. But it was the same injury, and unfortunately at the end of that he only signed a short-term contract at Dundee United. So he was actually had to go back to France and build himself up and rehab himself and things like that. So hence why he's not been with the club for probably a year and a half or so. But championships, he's done it. He's been there. He's done it. He's been promoted through the leagues with Coventry. Only the days we've seen already in the days that he's in the game that he played, he's a good player. Can shift, decent pace about him, and got a bit about him, a bit of physicality. 6'1". So we'll see how the rest of the week goes.
And how much is this about, not necessarily with him, but with trialists generally, about future planning or for the here and now?
There's always a risk. I think for us we were quite settled with the 7 that we had, and unfortunately injury happened to Conor Carty at Bradford. The injury to John Taylor, which is actually better news than we probably half in our head thinking it was going to be. So I've always liked to have 3 on the pitch, 3 on the bench. If we did do something with Max, it might give a possibility to Vunga Clay and Jack Goodman getting out to play some games, things like that. We'll see. I still haven't made a decision. I actually haven't sat down with Gavin or Terry or anybody yet. I've really just brought the boy in, see how he gets on. He obviously knows a couple of the players and playing against him and played the scene and things like that. So he's a good character and he's a good type. Obviously the risk is he's not played a lot of football for the last year and a half.
So Taylor then had his op, and it was the best case scenario.
Yeah, they just removed the piece of floating bone in there for him. So hopefully a couple of weeks with Tails, which is brilliant news, and he deserves that type of news because he's done everything in his power to try and get back this season, and we've seen it firsthand. And the conversation I had with Tails in the summer was like, how do you feel? And he was really down. Bless him, when I first walked into the football club, he was proper down, and we picked him up a little bit. Obviously I had him before at Peterborough, and he was ready to run through the walls for the football club, and it's when we came back in, and he tried his best to get back over the summer. He started the first game, had that bit of a relapse again, another operation, kept him out for a bit, and then comes back, and then he has this little setback. And I'm pleased this is only a minor setback for him, because he doesn't deserve it. You know, he's worked so hard with himself, the physios, mainly himself really, to put him in a place mentally where he's ready to affect our team. So it's so hard. Players I don't think people understand how difficult it is when you can't do your job. And people may say, well, you still get paid, but that's by the by. Do you understand what I mean? Money is not irrelevant in that sort of position with Tails. He just wants to play football. And I'm pleased he's got a bit of luck over it. Because
when he does have a smile on his face, he's quite the infectious character, isn't he?
He's massive, and even when he's been injured and he's been around the changing room, and we're set the game on Tuesday against Tranmere, he's sat in the stand watching things like that. And I know it's quite close to his home, but he doesn't need to be there. He's having an operation the next day. He just wants to be a part of it, and it's great that he's got a wee bit of fortune behind that.
Adelaikins hit the ground running. When you brought him in, how much was there a conversation about possibly sticking around for next season, given his circumstances, I think, at Lincoln?
I think Hax knows how much we think of him, and you know, the conversation always, when Hax was coming in, it was coming to affect us now. We knew obviously he's out of contract in the summer, and sometimes when you're taking a loan in a January period, and they've only got 6 months left of their contract, clubs don't actually tend to let them go out on loan unless they're not going to be part of their plans, or if they do let them go out on loan, and if they are part of the plans, they'll offer a new deal to him. So we're pleased that we actually ended up getting him. He had one or two other clubs after him, and it's a bit of a gamble for Hax as well, because he's out of contract in the summer, but he knows that he's very much, you know, respected between me and the coaching staff, and we got him performing to a standard at Hull in the first half of the season in League One, where he was really good, and he's almost took that on upon himself here at this level, and really pleased with him. So we'll see how the next 14 games go. I know I said 15 on Saturday, but 14
to go. AFC Wimbledon then next. What do you make of them?
I think they're a good team. I think they're definitely, you know, strong in departments. Obviously, look, we've picked up a few injuries, and seeing Johnny's press conference from during the week, maybe another one in Kofi Balmer. So again, a young player who I know coming through the system in Northern Ireland, and watching him in the Irish League. So doing well. I think the league is I think, you know, apart from maybe the top 4 or 5, I think you can see how inconsistent the rest of the division is, and how tight it is. So I guess they'll be trying to get back onto that sort of consistent level of performance and results, which probably has been missing for them for a month or two. But for us, we are just focusing on us. We're focusing on how can we put a plan together to get after them at home, and hopefully get another 3 points.
We spoke a moment or two ago about Taylor's character as an individual, but it's only a month or so ago, you know, that the fans were really not happy. You were going to Sutton, it was wanted to build as a massive game. The outcome of that happened. You've gone on since then. That in itself takes a bit of backbone, doesn't it, to kind of almost deal with the noise, play your game, start getting the results positive.
Yeah, I think as a football player, or being in football as a manager or coach, you've almost got to just ignore that sort of, whether you win, lose or draw, you've got to keep yourself intact and level, and worry about the job at hand, you know. So I've learned that over my management career, good times, bad times, in both, and you've got to try and remain calm and remain really clear in terms of what your philosophy, or not really a fan of that word, but principles and beliefs are about. And I think we've done that. I think it's helped to have some players coming back from treatment, from injury. The squad seems a bit more healthier. I think the recruitment's been better in January, or good in January, should I say, which has helped us and kicked us on a little bit. But we just want to try and on to the next one. Let's see if we can get another 3 points and see where we go.